What's up, everybody? Welcome to Primetime. I am your host, Chadwick Webb. I'm actually here to talk about a new movie coming out called Undertone. It's just me today because I went to the 2026 Sundance Film Festival and I saw Undertone there. And it was actually kind of cool because, a lot of times, Sundance movies are in like these big auditoriums, but this was actually in, a movie theater, like a regular movie theater in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I saw it with my good buddy Will Cohen, and we had kind of a good time, but like also like it was just really unnerving. This movie, like that's what it is just really unnerving. But before we I really get into it, I wanted to apologize just how late this review actually is. Reason being is that a lot of the stuff has happened since Sundance. Trying to get our house in order. I got sick a bunch of times, and as you can hear in my voice, I'm still not fully recovered. So I've decided to kind of take a little bit of a step back. Uh, in reviewing stuff until I get uh, a little bit better. But since Undertone is about to hit theaters, I was really excited to record like a short review just to let you know that I think you should totally go see it. Undertone is a directorial debut by newcomer director, and I apologize if I butcher the name, but it's Ian Tuason, and then also starring Nina Kiri. I also met the editor briefly, and since I was there at Sundance in person, I had the fortunate opportunity to meet the newcomer director, Ian Tuason, and also the main actress, Nina Kiri. I say main actress, but like honestly, there's very few people in the movie, and only two people are shown on screen because this is basically about a podcast. I mean, it's about different things, but it's about a woman who is returning home to take care of her sick mother and runs a podcast. I mean, you can kind of run a podcast from anywhere, but here with this, running a podcast in a home that may or may not be haunted or may or not have some sort of presence there is really fascinating because what they're able to do with this film to not only play with your visual sense but your hearing sense as well. Like, if you see anything about this movie, it's billed as like the scariest movie you'll ever hear, kind of a deal, because the soundscape and the visual, or because of the soundscape and the sound editing that is used in this film is just so incredible that, like, how like you will hear some sort of like ghost thing where they're playing like a recording, and there's going to be something creepy that pops up. This is kind of what the movie is. It has podcasters who listen to recordings of events that they hear about, creepy things that have happened to people, and then they try to piece together what actually happened by listening to recordings that went on. And so you hear like dialed up versions of these clips, and it's only just gets into really creepy vibes of like distorted, like childhood nursery rhymes and, people talking in their sleep and just muttering like really crazy things in their sleep that just sounds, super demonic and, things like that. Without dipping really into spoilers for this, I just think the vibes of it are just so creepy. What the director was able to do with just a small space, because it does take place in like one single location. It's just really, really impressive. I'm like constantly impressed by people who can take small spaces and maneuver around them to give us a vibey film of just like, really kind of close confined spaces and trying to think about ideas of what you can do to explore space and really show kind of the same things over and over but make it really unnerving at the same time. Remember back last year when we got the film Long Legs from Osgood Perkins, he had a lot of cinematography of the camera just kind of showing blank space behind someone, and like your mind just wants to fill in that space with something terrifying. And that's what we get in this as well. Like, I know it's billed as like, this big audio, like hearing horror thing. And it definitely does do that. It really gets under your skin that way. But it also makes great use of the space with the cinematography and making you scared of this house and like what might be hidden around the corner. And I was just really impressed with not just the direction and the editing, but also with our main star, Nina Kiri. I think, she's one to look out for, kind of like a Micah Monroe, has been in the horror genre. If Nina decides to keep going with her horror thing, she could maybe become a scream queen one day because I really feel like she made this movie just being like the only main visual character in here. You really go from, her being kind of skeptical to really kind of believing that something might be hidden around the corner. And I don't want to spoil where this movie goes, but it is one hell of a ride for your eyes and your ears. And I remember at the end of the movie, Will and I were like really disturbed by this one in the best way possible. And it was such a treat to be able to meet some of the people who made this. And I think if you go see Undertone in the theater, you're going to be really impressed as well. And I think you're going to really enjoy it. And I can't wait for Carrie and Hunter to be able to see this because I'd love to talk about this movie a little bit more in depth a little later on. So, go check out Undertone and let me know in the comments what you are excited about, or if you've seen it, what you really liked about the movie, because it is definitely a scary one. So, going into 2026 with a scary movie like this is really cool. So, I'm very excited for you guys to check it out. And yeah, if you like this, click that like button, subscribe to Welcome to Prime Time, and remember, stay scared.